When things go well in art, it makes you feel like you're Picasso. You feel like you haven't just done really well at school. You feel like you've just really succeeded at life. It feels like you've been able to communicate something that you maybe hadn't been able to communicate before. And it feels like you've been able to sort out your thoughts in a way that you hadn't been able to see them before. I think every time I make a piece I'm proud of in art, I feel like I've been able to untangle a really, really dense knot into something that's actually really simple and kind of elegant.
It is an exposing thing, and it's incredibly vulnerable. Like, when I make something, it's never been done before, so I'm kind of just putting something that was inside me out there, and that's terrifying. But I think if you have the passion, you can't not do that. And just talk to Mr. Tucker or another teacher and ask them about what they think you should be doing. And I think as long as you voice what you're feeling inside, they can help you. I'm not very confident and I'm not great at talking, as you can see, but because of the communication with them, they're giving me the confidence to feel less vulnerable with art.
Queen's has always produced some really brilliant art students who've gone on to do really well in their degree courses and their foundation courses. A couple of years ago there was Cara Chin who actually won a national open art competition for a piece she did well in her final year at Queen's. She then went on to a foundation and she got onto a degree course at the Slade School of Art, which is one of the, if not the best art school in the country. And it only takes 40 people onto its fine art degree course, and she was one of them, and she is one of the best students there. She regularly wins art competitions that students in the second and third years apply to. 2 years ago there were a group of triplets that were Campbells, and they went on to the best art foundation in the country, Central St Martin's. And they also then went on from that to do degrees at Cambridge and Oxford, which is really interesting for me because I would consider I'm hoping to make an application to Cambridge.
When it came to choosing doing whether to do a foundation year or not, Mr. Tucker was really helpful. He has great knowledge in terms of how to prepare portfolios, which sort of foundation courses are best at which university, which I think really gave us a head start in determining the courses we wanted to apply for.
Because I joined in year 10, I didn't know the group or Mr. Tucker as well as they had before, but he was very welcoming, and as soon as you showed an interest in art, he was interested in you.
He always goes to a couple of foundation shows for Matic students every year, so he knows exactly what the different colleges are doing, what their style of art is like, what he thinks of the art, if he thinks that it's a good foundation or not. He's always in touch with the ex-students, finding out what they think of it, and he always thinks about why a particular college may have accepted a student, or if they did reject them, which doesn't often happen, what maybe was the cause of that. So he's really indispensable in helping you pick the right course and pick the right college.
When I decided to take it for A-level, I went to Mrs. Dawson, who did with me a Moresby test, which essentially gave me the information that and reaffirmed the idea that I felt most comfortable doing art. Throughout my time at Queen's, we've had access to facilities such as the printing, which I think is unusual for a school to have such good facilities. It means that we've really been able to develop our skills in etchings and relief prints, which is something I've used thoroughly in my A2 work.
And I paint my sister a lot, and I'm interested in the idea of vulnerability. So this is one of my paintings, and I didn't really learn to paint until this year. I was mostly just drawing and printmaking, but I locked myself in my room and I told myself I wouldn't leave until I could.
You don't take exams. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to listen to people around you. I think it is really tough, and it never stops. With other subjects, you can do your homework and then you can take a break, but with art, there's always more work to be done.
When I got to year 12, I threw myself into it, and I realised that I could come here more often than I thought. It's open in the morning and until 6 at night. So now I come in at 7:30 and I leave at 6, and I'm in here for all my frees at lunchtime, and I can do as much work as I want, and it's heaven. It's nice.